Audiobooks for kids? Welcome back to another edition of Dro Talks. Dro here. Today we're going to be talking about Zero G, written by Dan Wells and narrated by a full cast, brought to you by Audible directly. This is an Audible original. I actually got it free as part of my Audible membership back in November. I just listened to it. So for those less patient of you out there, do I recommend, don't I recommend? Boom. I highly recommend this audiobook. It's short. As I said, I got it for free due to my membership, but even had I not, I would definitely say this is worth your price of purchase. It is aimed at a younger crowd. I would say probably middle school, grade school, middle school level, but definitely it's a good time, and you should do yourself a favor and check this one out. The story. This audiobook, Zero G, centers around a young 12-year-old boy named Zero. I think that's his nickname actually, but I can't really remember what his real name is. I know he is of Asian descent, but Zero here, not your ordinary 12-year-old boy. He's curious, he's rambunctious, he's all over the place, getting into trouble. Come to think about it, that sounds like pretty much every 12-year-old boy. So I guess he's your average 12-year-old boy. There we go. And he and his family, his mom, dad, and several of his siblings, are actually on their way to inhabit another planet across interstellar space. And you catch up with them as they're boarding an interstellar ship to go there. And although this journey is going to take, I believe, let me look at my notes, 105 years, to them it's going to appear like if it was just one night of sleep, as they will be in stasis pods. It should be a straightforward journey, but Zero, being a rambunctious 12-year-old boy, finds himself in a precarious situation where his stasis pod opens up before they even leave the solar system. So right off the bat, he's faced with a time limit. As soon as they leave the safety of the solar system, the interstellar ship's going to ramp up to 1/3 the speed of light, which means anyone not trapped safe inside a stasis pod will be squished to death. It's a pretty hardcore introduction to a book. I'm saying this for a younger crowd. I have to ponder that a little bit. So this leaves Zero in a race against time to not only find a stasis pod or fix his stasis pod before they get to the interstellar threshold once this ramp up in speed takes place. But nothing is easy in the world of stories. So he's faced with space pirates. You heard that right. Space pirates. Asteroids, and a navigational AI is his only friend. So this story, the audiobook in its entirety, is about 4 hours. It's a great listen. It's very fun. It's a very easy listen. I give Zero G a 5 out of 5. Now for narration. Zero G, as I mentioned earlier, is narrated by an entire cast of narrators. And normally I do not like this in audiobooks. I don't know if it's the short length of the story, or I don't know if it's just done very well. But every person from the narrator to each character has a distinct voice, narrated by most parts distinct individuals. And it works together very well. It's very cohesive and very enjoyable. The characters are not very fleshed out. I mean, this is you gotta bring your expectations on down. This is not a novel. This is not a masterpiece. This is just a fun story. And if your expectations want to have a fun story, then you'll be all right here with Zero G. So the narration, the cast, there's way too many to name in videos, and I'm trying to bring my time down also. There's just a lot of them, but they all did a fantastic job. And for this reason, I would give narration a 5 out of 5. That leaves us with listenability. So I've listened to this book twice now already. I listened to it once by myself while I was traveling, and I listened to it with my kids as I realized this was a book for a younger audience. And I'm happy to say that I enjoyed it and my kids also enjoyed it, and they actually want to listen to it again. So I do believe you can listen to this again, but it is for a younger crowd. So for a younger crowd versus myself, I might give this a different view, but for myself, I would give Listenability a 4 out of 5. That gives us an overall score of 4.6 over here. That to me is just a 4, but it's definitely a high 4. And as I mentioned in the beginning, it's definitely worth your time. Check this book out. You will not regret it. If I were to compare this book to one movie, I would call this Home Alone in space. And boom, there. I just painted the whole picture for you. So, have you listened to Zero G? If so, what did you think about it? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Or what is your favorite Audible original story? Let me know. Comment below. And as always, this has been Dro Talks. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Ring that bell to get notified. And we'll see you next time.